Good morning guys. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. We're back in the garage with the 135. Continuing along with this 1M conversion series, if you guys saw any of the previous conversion videos, you will know that we've gotten through the front end, the rear end, some of the exhaust stuff, and we started the battery conversion where we have the new battery tray in the car. We have all of the new charcoal canister lines ran, the scavenge air line ran, and we are now ready to actually convert this over to a 1M battery and battery cable setup. Before we get into this video, just a reminder, if you are doing this conversion, I have all of the OEM parts in a spreadsheet linked down below. That is everything that I ordered directly from BMW. I've listed the part numbers, the links, the prices, the total cost, everything. So if you are doing this conversion or you're interested in doing this conversion and you need to find out more information, please use that resource. It might help you. But nonetheless, let's take a look at what we are getting into today. All right, so we have our new battery tray in here, and this is for the 1M. And if you didn't see any of the previous videos, basically what that allowed us to do is run our new quad exhaust system, and we had to relocate some of the charcoal canister lines and all that stuff. So now we are ready to accept the 1M battery and battery cable configurations. Now there's gonna be quite a bit of stuff that we need to convert over for the 1M battery conversion, and that is why I'm making a dedicated video for it. All of this right here is for the 135. So if we are using the 1M battery tray and we use the 135 battery wiring and cables, this is about where this is going to sit, and that is not going to work. You're gonna see that we have a hole all the way over here for one of the battery's secure posts, and then another one right here. Basically, the battery needs to sit right here. You also have to buy a different battery itself in order to make it fit in this tray. Can you get away with running the 135 stuff? Maybe. You're still gonna have to change a few things in order to make it work if you ran the 135 stuff, but these secure points would no longer match up to your 135 battery in the length of these cables. So then you would have to be like stuffing a bunch of stuff in here to make the battery secure, which is just not smart overall. So we're doing it the right way. We're doing all of the OEM conversion stuff. If we take a look at the actual batteries themselves, we have the 135 battery. Unfortunately, this is like a brand new battery. I just bought it. And here is the 1M battery that we are going to be using. Now, I did a little bit of research in the forums, and that's how I landed on this battery. You can see the obvious size differences. The 1M battery is much smaller, and that is so it will fit in this corner over here and be able to be tied down. Now, in the battery list on the Google spreadsheet, there are going to be some things that are optional and some things that are going to be different depending on your setup. On my setup, you'll see that I have the IBS system for this battery. IBS stands for Intelligent Battery System. So if your negative battery is black and it has some wires coming out of it like this, well, that means that you have the IBS system and you have to buy the more expensive battery cable. If you do not have the IBS system, it's likely going to be a brown wire, and it's just going to be a negative battery cable without all of the wiring and whatnot. There's a pretty large price difference between those two pieces, but it is what it is, and we don't want to delete that IBS system, so we ended up getting the right part. This unfortunately has to be special ordered from Germany, and it takes a bit of time to get here. So it took about 2 weeks to get here. We were just waiting on this in order to finish this whole battery project. I also went for extra credit and bought the foam insert that fits over in the, I think it fits like that in the corner. You definitely don't need to buy this, but I think it's just going to look better in the end that we do have it. So pretty much everything on here is going to be changing, and I'll tell you what, it's not cheap. It's definitely not cheap to do it the right way. You get all of the functional battery pieces, the different wires that you need, cables, all that stuff. But like we said a million times here, I'm just trying to do this the right way, and I don't want to have to make any changes, and I want to be proud of it in the end. On an unrelated note, I did actually get my auxiliary radiator in for the front of the 1M conversion. This is going to be going into the driver's side front left corner, right where that air duct goes into. It's going to be hitting right into this guy. Originally, I thought I was going to do a dual oil cooler setup. A little more research told me that it is in fact not an oil cooler on the 1M. It is an auxiliary radiator on the 1M. So I went ahead and just ordered the OEM auxiliary radiator. Probably going to install that a little bit later today. I got a lot of stuff to do on this car. All right, so that is enough talking. Let's go ahead and start this battery conversion. All right, so if you are not already at this point, obviously you need to take out the inside over here. Well, you probably don't have to take out all this stuff, but I just did it because we're gonna have a little bit more room and it's gonna make it easier to work. Gonna have to pull this guy apart just to give us a little bit more flexibility and slack. Just two little push pins that you pop out of there. And then I'll probably undo this tape as well and just remove this plastic piece for now so I have more room to work with. These nuts are all going to be 13 millimeters. And in order to get this actual piece off of the old battery, there's basically basically clips on the side that hold onto the battery. You need to release those clips and just pull up and the whole thing will come right off. Obviously disconnect your positive and negative battery cables. But yeah, essentially when you start all this, it's going to look like this. So let's go ahead and just remove this guy right here and then take off this negative back here, which should also be a 13 mil. And we'll just work on this piece by piece so we don't get confused as to what goes there. There's also a little plug right here that goes into there, and we should be able to take this off completely. All right, so one thing that I'm noticing, you guys, is that the old battery, negative battery cable, this portion of it is a little bit different. These wires are bent and connected a bit differently, and it changes the size of everything. It's not by much, but the parts are just a little bit different in size, which unfortunately is enough to make this plastic piece fit like total garbage. I tried cutting this up. This came off of obviously the old one. I tried cutting it up and just making it fit onto this one, but it's not going to. The sizing and the thickness is just, everything is just different, so it doesn't make sense. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna see if there's a part number for this piece for the 1M negative battery cable. I didn't see it in the original list, but I'll go ahead and see if I can find one. For now, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna tape up any of the exposed metal, just so it's covered for now. I know what you're thinking. My gosh, that is just the most beautiful tape job. Don't worry, guys, we will order the right part and I will make it look much better. This is just gonna be temporary so we can get through this install today. One other important thing that I want to point out to you guys is that if you look at our new cable with the IBS plug and our old cable with the old IBS plug, they are in fact two different types of connections. And BMW makes a part, it's going to look like this, which actually converts that connection to this connection. So we are going to need this as well. It's literally just going to plug into that and then plug into our old wiring system. And here is the plug for that. So you're actually not going to be changing any of the IBS wires themselves. It's just literally an adapter connection to go from this to the new negative. All right, so here are the positive battery cables, and as you can see, this is the one that came out of the 135. This is the new 1M positive battery cable. The 1M positive battery cable is going to be much longer to allow us to extend these wires over to the new battery location. So now that we have the old one out, we don't need anything off of this, which is nice. We can go ahead and just put it to the side, and we can go ahead and put this in. So what I plan on doing is just sort of getting everything loosely connected to this, putting the battery in, and getting a general idea of location. So what we can do last is actually extend this piece, because we're gonna cut it right here and then extend it so it fits over here. That seems to be the most obvious way to do this. If you wanted to go nuts, you could go ahead and buy an entire positive battery cable that goes to the front of the car and just reroute the entire thing. You have to take out literally everything from the back, front, in order to fish that through. Seems a little bit excessive in my opinion. New positive battery cable, and then we also have the new positive battery lead as well. So this, just like all of the other cables, will now be a longer lead cable. Here's our old one, there's our new one, obviously much longer, so we can go ahead and put that in as well. right, so I have everything plugged into where it needs to be for right now. Kind of just set everything over to the side. I did disconnect this one little clip just because it seemed like this was stretching a little bit in its location. So I'll probably have to move this little clip down so it's out a little bit further. Everything else plugged right in, mounts right up, looks good. Let's go ahead and put in our new battery and then test the location. And then we'll go ahead and measure to see exactly how far we need to extend this positive cable. Well, this will give you an idea of how far we need to extend it. It's really not by much. So let's do 6 inches, and that should be plenty. So we'll literally just chop right here. So this will be our extended wire, which is the same gauge. Everything sits in here nicely, it fits well. All right, we got everything, well, for the most part, it's finished, it's ready to go, and everything fits. So with this wire right here, you have to just cut the tape that is holding it to this plug, and then if you pull along here, you'll be able to pull it out a little bit. There's a little bit of slack, and it's plenty long to go to here. The other thing you can do is just simply extend it if you want to, but I don't think it's necessary. I did use a couple of zip ties to just sort of clean things up a little bit. A couple of things that are going to be changing in the future with this setup. One, I gotta find the part number for that little plastic piece right here, so that will look better. Two, I bought the wrong size heat shrink sleeves. So these are a little bit too small. I'm gonna have to up the size on these so I can get rid of some of this janky looking electrical tape right here, and I'll just heat shrink that over this so it just looks a little bit better. And the last thing is I'm waiting on the other battery mount to go on this side. It's in there, like it's not going anywhere, but I would rather just have both of them in there for reassurance. The foam piece fits right in there pretty perfectly, which is kind of nice having this because it sort of secures the battery to the side even though I don't have the other mount. This is, I believe this is for the tire repair kit, so if you get like all the tire repair stuff, you can put it in there. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty self-explanatory and everything does fit if you get the correct parts. You just sort of have to finesse things and make them work. But I think it looks pretty decent. You know, it's not perfect, but it is what it is and it's gonna work. For our intended purposes, it's definitely gonna get the job done. And the last piece is that we can just put on this little battery cover piece. That will go right there and that will go right there. That lays across just like that. All right, so now that the battery install is complete, we will need to register the battery. There's a couple of ways that you can do this. Obviously, go to your local shop, have them do it for you, or you can use Carly. In addition to the Carly, I've heard that you can use BeamerLink. I've never used BeamerLink to register a battery, but I know for sure that Carly will register the battery. All right, so I've got Carly connected here, doing its thing. Here is the reader right in the OBD2 port. Now you are ready to start, sweet. So what we're gonna do is we're going to go to other features and we're going to scroll down into battery reset, continue. And then we're gonna register a new type of battery because the stats are different. So read battery type. Battery data readout successful. You're gonna have to change your amp hours. I believe mine, just check on your battery, but it'll tell you should be 70. So just look in the back. Upside down, but yep. 70 amp hours. So that is what we're gonna put in. And then we will go to register battery. Successful. And it is that easy. So now what we'll do is just turn the car off, turn it back on, and this battery will be successfully registered to the car and we will be good to go. One quick thing before we do a little startup here is as you guys saw in the last video, we installed our quad exhaust system from Super Sprint. And from that video, you may also recall how our rear section does not meet up to our mid pipe. Well, it turns out you actually need a connecting pipe. So one of you guys commented on the video, huge thank you. If you're going from 1M to 135 mid, you have to use this Super Sprint connecting pipe. So I ordered it, should be here soon, but right now the exhausts are not connected. So it's literally just gonna rattle like crazy. But at least we can get a good start up here to know for sure that everything worked out. Well, that's a little loud. Essentially, we're just like downpipe straight out right now. Freaking loud. But she starts right up. Battery and everything worked out. Everything looks good down here. Yes, sir. Back in action, man. Haven't started this thing in forever. That was so loud. Feels great to get this car moving again though. I haven't moved it in a couple of weeks. And as soon as I get that connecting pipe, I'm going for a drive. I don't care if it looks ridiculous. I want to drive this car and I miss it. But anyways, you guys, I hope this video helped you out. If you are embarking on this journey to do the 1M conversion, the battery is definitely a necessary part of the conversion in my opinion, especially with running the quad exhaust and everything. It just makes sense to do it this way. But if you guys have any questions, make sure you drop them down in the comments below. As I said before, the entire 135 to 1M parts list is also linked down below. Hopefully that will help you guys out. Anyways, you guys, I appreciate you so much for watching all the videos. I'll see you guys in the next one.